Hola, hola. Greetings to everyone. This is Erica Garcia Abigail, and this is podcast episode number 2. We're going to call this one Stress Management for Busy Professional Women. Pretty simple, pretty matter of fact, because that's really who we are. Okay, so now before we get started, let's take a moment. Let's just take a quick mindful moment. I want us to all get used to this. Let's gather ourselves, connect with one another, and let's just take a breath. And as we just simultaneously take that inhale breath, take a deep inhale with the nose, and then exhale, let it all go. Just do one more time because it really is going to shift our mindset so that we can then dial in and listen in. Inhale, and then exhale. Excellent. We have another option is like really if you're feeling like you just need to like pull it together, you can just place your left hand on your belly, right hand on the heart, and do one more time. Inhale, and then open mouth. And then interlace your fingers. Let's give a good stretch up to the sky. And then just shake it out. Maybe do some neck rolls, some shoulder shrugs, right? Do whatever is going to feel good so that you can just get comfortable. One more, last one. Inhale. And exhale. If you're seated in a chair, like I said, you can do exactly what I just did to get comfortable, settle in. It's really important that you just get comfortable. And so here we are again. Ta-da! So how are you doing today? I mean, really, ask yourself, because as I'm asking you, pause and, how am I doing today? And then just take another breath and then let it go. So whatever you're feeling, whatever sensations are rising, whatever emotions, don't try to name it. Just sit with it, acknowledge, and then just exhale, right? Sometimes you can name it immediately, sometimes you can't. So just like I said, regardless of what you're feeling, taking these like few moments to just inhale, I invite you to detach from it. And then on your next exhale, just let it go and continue to do that. And even breathe that way if you need to until you settle in. Do that as you're listening to the podcast. And eventually you'll settle in. So again, I want to welcome you to the Nueva Alma podcast. As I said earlier, I am Erica Garcia Abigail, and I'm thrilled that you showed up today and that you're here today. So thank you so much for tuning in and your support. I can't even tell you how it means the world to me. So be sure, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. More is coming. Because this is definitely going to be one that you're going to want to come to often as you see the different topics and as you see the different things that I'll be unveiling over the next few weeks and months, right? So in this episode, we're going to explore some of what are the contributing sources of stress for us busy women, and how can we really just manage it, right? Manage it in real life, though. And when I say busy professional, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm I'm a mom, I'm not busy. No, I know that. So it really applies to everyone. But I'm going to give you some practical tips and some quick tools that you can put into practice. And some of it's stuff that I've been using for years as I've been multitasking my life, and what has worked for me that's just made my life a whole lot manageable. So I'll share that with you. But will be some other stuff too. So you should always get ready to, when you listen in, grab a pen and paper or your journals, because over time you're going to find that these podcasts are going to be really quick, references or quick service, like quick reminders and the go-tos for like daily self-work. Because I know that there's a lot of women out there with their planners and stuff that are doing daily self-work like every morning or every evening. So you're going to always write some notes that I know that you're going to be coming back to later. And I encourage you, like, reach out and share your thoughts. Get involved in today's conversation. Comment here, or you could privately message me. Let's get started and dive in, because this episode is going to be really packed with a lot of information, fun facts, practical tips, and like so much more, right? So I want you to, like I said, if you haven't already, Get comfortable. I am seated right now in El Segundo Nivel in Humacao. This is my co-work share space. And listen, like I said, I have my own personal journey. And I, throughout the years, just like realized that sometimes multitasking over and over and over and always keeping busy, I learned now in my 50s, in my late 40s, that that's also a trauma response. And sometimes your personal journey is so incredibly healing when you share it, right? Especially now that I'm over 50, I relocated to Puerto Rico with my husband, and I continue to delve into, where do I want to go in this next chapter, right? I kind of look at my life in buckets of like each decade, right? And how do I want to integrate what I learned as a lifelong student of these ancient scriptures, right? But also a lifelong student of wellness, and how I've incorporated it in when I was in corporate America to even now that I'm building a whole new business in a whole new different land, whole new concept, right? Co-work share spaces are not new, but to find one that's super casual, but also has wellness, to encourage you to, sit, work, come, get inspired, work with others, network, but also give yourself permission to just pause. Like, you know what? I don't have a 10 o'clock meeting. I'm going to go and jump into class, and then afterwards sip on some tea and sit on the balcony and maybe browse through a book for a few minutes or take a quick walk, and then I'll come back, and then I'm going to be like 110% ready for my 11:30 call. You know what I mean? So as a listener, I want you to know I'm your sister friend. You can consider me your auntie and your confidant if you want, but it's because as we go through our lives, we all have different journeys and we should be sharing them. There should be like no secrets, because know that you're not alone. Sometimes we're so busy, we feel like we're the only one that is this busy. And you're not, which actually is very freeing. It's very freeing. So I want you to join us in the conversation about healing and empowering each other together, right? So the podcast overview, in this episode, we're going to delve into the common sources of stress, like I said, and mainly like us middle-aged professional women face. When I say middle-aged professional women, I don't mean like our old way of thinking of what middle age is. It's like management for like home, house, business. I want you to start incorporating mindful practices in all of your aspects, because they really will significantly reduce your stress. And before we begin, I really want to take a huge thank you to this episode's generous sponsors, which is us, El Segundo Nivel, right? We are, like I said, we are Umacao's premier co-working wellness space. Um, we are going to be the next hub. We are the next hub in downtown Humacao. We're literally like steps away from the plaza, and it's beautiful. And you can discover what it's like to take your life and your health to the next level up here, right? And as I said earlier, it's not just a co-working day, wellness day, but it really is, coming here is an experience. And I encourage all of you, whether you live here or you're visiting, join us, whether it's a day pass, right? Remote workers, students, freelancers, small businesses all thrive by meeting others and being inspired by others, but also learning that we as a whole, you're as healthy as your business is, and you need rest. You really do. So that's really what we created here. And so El Segundo Nivel is, um, it is aesthetically designed to refresh your mind, spirit, body, and your business, right? And it's a place that the moment you walk in, it shifts your mindset into understanding that overall wellness is an entire being. It helps you ditch the isolation and burnout from working from home and working alone. And it also encourages you to move. And the reason why I am really talking about the sponsors here, is because a wellness workday atmosphere, wherever you are, allows you to blend the comforts of home, but also office efficiency. So we have, like, the free Wi-Fi, the coffee, the tea, the snacks, the guided meditations, yoga classes. We have business and personal growth workshops. We also have other wellness offerings and some pop-ups as well of wellness offerings, and everything is affordable, super affordable, and also taught bilingually. And so I want to thank the sponsors, because um, I am one of the sponsors, but it's really the space that's the sponsor. And it's the beautiful atmosphere of the murals, and the incense and the aromatherapy as you walk in, and the flexibility of the space. And why did I really want to focus on the sponsor is because I encourage all of you, wherever you are, whether you're a solopreneur, a small team, remember that you deserve a day of deep rest, right? Some of us are working harder at home. And so the stress levels are even worse, right? Because in the beginning it was like, oh, good, I could get my laundry done. But now the stress management is there. It's like increased, because now instead of taking that 10-minute moment, you're now adding the laundry and adding the extra whatever chore in between the meetings, and you're really not resting. And so find a place where you can escape at least one day, if not every week, every other week, or half a day. You can take a half day, quote unquote, offsite. You can start a mini spa day at home, even if you can't get out, by getting up at like 2 hours earlier. Like, for example, you know, get up at 5, have your tea, um, go for a walk, and tell the boss, I'm going to log in at 11 today or 10:30. But between 5 and 10, you already just got 5 hours of wellness. You can then, you know, go out in nature, have that bubble bath, give yourself that morning manicure with your coffee, whatever the case is. Find ways to plug in a little bit of time. It will go such a long way. And that's partially why I created my business here, right? Is to have it right there at your fingertips. But you don't have to necessarily, like I said, go someplace else, but you really do need to make managing your stress a super priority. Um, and it, like I said, write it in like a meeting. Block off an extra hour on your calendar, so that someone doesn't plug in a meeting that next thing you do, you turn around and there's like back to back to back to back to back. It happens all the time. Take the moments that when someone gives you back time, right? Because they blocked off an hour and they stopped at, 40 minutes, and you get back that extra 20. How about don't look to fill that 20 and literally take back that time and make those your little mini mindful moments, right? So in this episode, as we continue to speak, I really want to encourage you to think about it, ladies. Like, look, I get it. We're all busy and we're all stressed and we're tired, right? And at the end of the day in Spanish, we say punto y final, like leave me alone. And we're so afraid to shut off the phone. We're so afraid to not be present or be available. But you can. You can take those moments, because that also adds to the common stressors, right? So can you right now take a moment and think about the top 5 things that are common sources of stress for all of you? Think about it. What are the common stressors? And when I think about it, right, and like I said earlier, when I say middle age, what I'm saying is those of us who are already in the middle of our managing our careers and life and family, right? Um, and there are so many things like pulling at us, and we're not getting any younger. And don't get me wrong, right? Because you could be 25 going through this, you could be 17 going through this, right? But women have a certain propensity to take on stress with our life partners, our families, our aging parents, our careers, our children. Um, some of us even get the extra shout out, like, if that were not enough, we're not satisfied with where we are in our careers. And a lot of us have like a side hustle. We got a little side business going on. We're pursuing our education at night, on weekends. Um, we're just nonstop. And I will tell you, up until last year, like, that was me. And I was deep inside tired. I didn't realize on the surface. I was like, no, I'm not tired. Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. But it wasn't until I stepped out of my corporate role that I had all this time that I was like, wow, I could just rest. So I'm not talking about abandoning your jobs. That's not what this is. But what I'm saying is, maybe we could put one ball that we're juggling down. Not permanently. You can still keep it in eyesight, but pick it up where you can manage the juggle versus like all the balls flying everywhere. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of the common sources I've kind of narrowed down to like four big buckets. And so, number one of the big, the big one I think we deal with all Monday through Friday, day to day, 9 to 5 or 8 to 6, whatever, are like the general work pressures, right? We're managing super, uh, shorter deadlines, higher expectations. Often we're now, because of short staff, we're multiple roles. We're taking on more than what's in our general job description, and a lot more stretch projects that really we're not being, recognized for. So don't be afraid to reevaluate what you're doing in your day to day, and check your job description and see if something could either be delegated off your plate if it really shouldn't be you, because you're so used to doing it yourself, or if something can be added, right? Because sometimes management doesn't realize that's what you've been doing this whole time. They thought Susie over there was doing it. So if you can write down all your tasks in 1 week and how much time it's taking out of your day, see what you can delegate, see what you can have added, and then have it noted as a list, as a topic on your next one-on-one with your boss, or even in your annual reviews. Because sometimes we're like, oh yeah, nobody appreciates what I'm doing. But if they don't know what you're doing, then ladies, we need to tell them. And we can't be afraid to tell them, because that's part of our stress, right? We're sitting here going, oh my God, I'm doing all this, I'm not getting paid for it. And we're afraid to discuss about tests that we're taking on, because we're afraid of feeling like, either we're complaining or that we're not capable, but it's actually that we're doing someone else's job, and is very, very, very common. And oftentimes, compensation and promotions are discussed months before the annual reviews. So, really, I don't want you to wait until annual review season, right? You must be your own advocate. You must. And you have to remember, you need to partner with your supervisors and bosses, right? They can't advocate for you that you've gone above and beyond if they don't know where you're going above and beyond. So don't assume. A lot of us sit there festering and thinking that they know, or they should know, but unless you put it in their faces, you really can't blame them, because they also have their own stresses too, right? Number two is our family responsibilities, because most of us, as we age, our children are aging, right? So we have children growing, we have our aging parents. A lot of us are maintaining entire household responsibilities or multiple. So I encourage you that before you hit that wall, ask or hire help. There is a reason for the quote, it takes a village. And you need to stop being, fierce over there, Miss Fierce Independent. I could do everything. Some of us are too over dependent. Remember, that's a trauma response. There is nothing wrong with asking for some help. And like I said, like, it doesn't even have to be that much. You're working so much. Can you spare like an extra $100, $150? And can you hire someone to come and do the deep dive cleaning that once a month to help you, so that you don't have to spend an entire Saturday cleaning the house from top to bottom, windows, underneath counters, and countertops, doing those big tasks? I never used to think I could until I started doing it. And then I was like, oh my God, what took me so long? Can you carpool, have your kids be carpooled with some of your neighbors? giving you that extra time in the morning. Look, none of us is superhuman. We have really nothing to prove to anybody else. And it's usually just us feeling like we don't want to feel less than. And really, you can hire some help, and you could do it without it being super impactful on your pocket, but it will give you so much more back on your emotional health, your physical health. Trust me, we can't give from an empty cup. And no one's saying you don't know how to clean your house. What I'm saying is that, shit, I really don't feel like doing the windows. And I really don't feel like dusting. So can you do it for me? Because you love doing it, and it's going to cost you $100, and I'm going to be here anyway, so you could ask me the questions, and there you go. You just got back so many more hours, right? And in getting back, what do you have? You have now time that you're less stressed. The chores are done. You got to split up your time, and then you can give it back either to yourself, to your husband or partner, or wife, or to the kids, right? Um, or just ask everyone else in the house to help you. Like, I often will throw in the wash, and then my husband moves it from the washer to the dryer. If he has time, he folds it. If not, we fold it together while we're watching the show, and we call it, teamwork, right? It's everybody's clothes. Number three bucket is health concerns, right? Because as we age, we start getting chronic health issues, menopause starts to kick in, and other issues arise too. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard my friends say, "Oh, I can't go to the doctors because I can't be out of the office for 2 hours." But you know what? Your health is so much more important than those 2 hours, because then months go by, and then even your annuals get delayed, and then next thing you know, you went for a checkup and a follow up. And I can't even tell you how crucial it is that you get on top of your doctor's appointments, your self care and maintenance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle is so much more important. So put it in your planners, and put it even before it's due, so that if you try to push it off, you still have it, right? Number four, our big bucket list stressor, I would have to say, is our social expectations, right? Because it's a stressor of, I need to be wearing this, or I need to go here, or I need to be seen here. And these connections and this personal image persona, right, that we want to put out there, this competing with the Joneses starts to set in, and it often leads to triggering like unhealthy body image stuff, increased debt from overspending for the latest gadget or the most expensive car or the biggest house or the overpriced clothing or the latest fad item. That we're here, we're adults, but yet we're still acting like we were still in high school. Like, oh, you have that, I need that. Da, 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 da. And it's so not necessary. So there are some techniques that you can help with managing that. Really, like time management, taking digital detoxes. Like, take a day, take 2 days, take them off, right? Go back to using your planners and calendars and look at them weekly, and prioritize your tasking, delegate responsibilities, set realistic goals, put some time. There's like timers to tell you how much usage you're using on your phone, to make sure you're not losing time there too, because wasted time, lost time is also another stressor, because then next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, where did these 3 hours go when I could have been doing A, B, and C, right? And I'll admit, I'm one to pull out my weekly planner, and yes, I get stuff done because I visit my planner every morning. So that's kind of like my to-do list for the day. And the biggest things that slip from my mind when I'm not doing that is basically my goal setting and my manifesting. So I really make sure that I hit my planner every day. If you want a really good one, I actually authored one. It's on Amazon. It's called the Prophetic Planner. We'll have another podcast on that, but definitely um, get to planning and writing. The other thing is, make sure you, in your planning, that you're making sure you get in some physical activity, because you need overall good physical health, right? So I plug in, like in my planner, like 3 days minimum that I need to have some type of physical movement. I'm not saying I need to hit the Peloton 3 times a week. I kind of do, but I kind of like do look for anything that's going to labor my breath, break a little sweat, whether it's doing yoga, whether it is jumping on the bike, or whether it's walking my dog, or just jumping around the house and dancing for like, if I'm going to dance and sweat, I do like a 3 song minimum. And then I'll try to look for something else. And then healthy diet, put it in the planner, right? Not everybody is a meal prepper. But just look for more balanced diet meals, clean eating, because the better your diet is, the better your body feels. It just does, right? So aim for like eating the colors of the rainbow or varied textures on the plate. Start with that, and then you're going to notice that organically you're just going to start picking up more fruits and veggies because you're going to be looking for more colors, and then that's going to automatically give you more roughage and fiber and the whole thing. Adequate sleep. Put the timer on your television as soon as you go in, because some people need that white noise, but put the timer in 30 minutes and then do it. The average person needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep, adequate adequate sleep, so that they can be fully rested. And believe it or not, a lot of people aren't even getting that. They're staying up too late, and they're not getting to sleep. So my tip, like I said, is either take the TV out of the bedroom or put the timer on so that you don't have to wake up to shut it off, or it's not on all night, because then that does disturb your sleep. Use maybe eye masks. Use a diffuser. Do whatever's going to really make it cozy and comfy. Get some social support. That's another thing that's going to help, right? Building a strong network of friends and family is really good for your emotional support. In my recent move, I have been actively working this aspect of my life because it's really hard to build new friendships and relationships as we get older. It just is. And then so I keep taking as many invitations as I can, the best that I can. I say to myself and even my husband, like, we have to remember we have to kiss a bunch of frogs in order to find the prince of the people that are going to be our people, right? And we're in the island where not everyone speaks English. People are coming and going. They're not here all the time, so it's big snowbirding community. So we just have to stretch out of our comfort zones. We just got to meet new people. We've met a bunch of amazing people, but it's like, oh my God, we love you. Can we go out next week? No, we're going to be back in like 4 months. I'm like, um, but also included in stress management tips would be an emphasis in incorporating daily mindfulness practices, right? And so, like, I love to do it with my new acquaintances, right? Like, hey, let's meet. And you're not even done. Like, my new thing is, can we have a WhatsApp? Let's do a meditation together, or let's have coffee and catch up, or whatever. I love that I can do video calls because I feel like I've been with my people, right? So I can't express enough how we've come to the other side of the pandemic, and many of us went back to our routines and we forgot everything that was keeping us healthy, especially all the mindfulness stuff while we were during the pandemic, when we realized that mental health awareness was like so important. So go back to what was working then, because you really need to do some breathing exercises, right? So practice the deep breathing techniques that will help calm the mind and reduce your stress. There's so many varied ones. Take those walks out in nature. Kick your shoes off, walk barefoot. That's called grounding, right? 5 minutes a day, whether it's the sand, the gravel, the grass, let it feel into your body and your bones, and just connect you with nature and earth. My favorite thing is also in the breathing exercises is the general box breath, like 4 count in, hold it for 4, exhale for 4, keep it empty for 4, and doing that as I'm doing a slow walk outside or just sit. If you're going to do box breath, do like 4 to 7 rounds. Whenever you're feeling super anxious or stressed or overwhelmed, you're going to notice that it's going to calm you down. I do it several times a day. Meditation is going to really help, really rejuvenate you spiritually, clear the mind. So set aside time each day for meditation. It's going to improve that focus totally. Your awareness, your mental clarity gets really, really, really clear. And meditation has nothing to do with prayer. Please, literally, it's taking that mental break, using the breath to calm the mind and body like an organism, just the systems, right? Generally, it's taught seated and very quick and easy pose, but you could do it at your office desk. You could do it in the car. You could do it on the bus and train when you're commuting. You could do it even standing. You could do it walking. You could do it having your cup of tea. Give yourself permission to start with like 5 minutes. Do 2 breaks a day, 5 minutes. Do it in those meeting time backs that we were talking about earlier, right? Get up and walk around the floor, walk to the other side of the office and then come back, take a walk out in the park and come right back. Just take a moment, but when you're walking, start being mindful of your surroundings. Let it help clear your mind. Oh, look at the green tree. Like look at the stones, and all. Just be mindful in this present moment and let go of the morning or the day before. Right? There'll be more podcasts where we'll do some walking meditations together. That'll come on the channel without a doubt. Right? Yoga does improve your relaxation, stress relief, and provides stress relief in the body and mind. It really does, and it also improves your physical well-being as a whole. So simple twists and yoga for beginners, gentle stuff really is. There's a lot more things you do in your daily breaks, and in your daily workouts that come from yoga or can be incorporated into yoga that you don't realize. And then journaling. A lot of people are journaling. If you just keep a gratitude journal, right? You don't have to do like, yeah, journal, da, da, da. Just take like a post-it note. 3 things. What has me happy right now? 1, 2, 3. You will notice that the moment you're stressed, the moment you shift your mindset to what am I grateful for, you kind of settle down. And then you kind of look at like, dang it, like what was just annoying me really has just like, I could just exhale and let it go and just focus here. Here's where my love is. Here's what makes my heart happy. And that's what I'm going to do, right? So throughout the day or once a week or once every other week, write out everything that's stressing you out, rip up the paper and throw it out. Take everything off your chest, taking everything out of your mind. You could do that also, like one big sheet of paper, poof, ship, and throw it out. I've recently gotten these water soluble papers, and I'll write everything and I send it off to the ocean so many times during the week. And I've shared it with others who've done retreats with me, and they've loved it. Because sometimes you're afraid to write something for fear of somebody's going to read it, but just to know it's gone is like awesome. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. That's another one, right? Learn to say no. Learn to say no when it's going to be an additional responsibility that you already know is going to cause you like overload. Just be like, not right now. Can you give it to someone else? In your planner, definitely schedule those self-care rituals and be true to them. Plan those digital detoxes, take those breaks, right? I'm just kind of like recapping what we've talked about, because these electronic devices, they cause so much mental fatigue, and you'll notice that you'll get much more improved quality of sleep and just mental health. And lastly, don't shy away from seeking professional help. Reach out to a therapist or a life coach if your stress becomes really overwhelming, dark thoughts start coming in, your body is starting to really physically react to things. Seek professional help. Some fun facts. Did you know that stress and chocolate are related? Well, if you have some dark chocolate, it actually reduces your stress hormones, particularly cortisol, which I love. So give yourself permission. If you're craving a piece of chocolate, make sure it's dark. Have a piece, 1 piece. I'm not saying the whole bar, but like have 1 piece, enjoy it, and then keep it moving. It could be the little picker upper that you needed. Laugh therapy. Laugh therapy is fantastic. It lowers your stress levels, and laughing actually increases your immune system. So watch a comedy. Call a friend who you know always has something funny to say. Bring laughter into your day, because laughter without feeling a sense, you can't laugh without feeling a sense of joy and happiness. You just can't, right? So find ways to laugh and smile, and then the happiness will come. Pet therapy. Oh my God. I can't live without some cuddles from all kinds of babies, right? But pet therapy is huge, right? Rub a little furry friend, see one on the street, say hello. That also lowers your stress levels. And those are like some fun facts, right? So here's some call to actions. Ready? Grab your journals. And let's take a moment to do some mindful self inquiries for this part of the episode. Because You've already sat this long, so I really want you to like work it, right? So list out what are the top 3 sources of stress that you're currently dealing with, and how are you currently managing them? And then take some time to see how can you adjust how you're handling it, right? And have you tried any mindfulness practices? If so, what's working? And actually share it with me. I'd be curious as to what's working for you. And if it's not working, you want something else, or would you like to tweak it? Let me know too. Write it in the comments, and I'll write back. Who knows, right? Maybe we can start something together. Um, do you have any self care rituals right now to help you unwind after a stressful day, and is it healthy? Meaning, are you turning to recreational drugs and alcohol, whatever, or what is the first thing that you grab to unwind? So if it's one glass of wine every now and then, okay, but be mindful, because that could also turn unhealthy when you start then needing it every day and then several times. It could get a little out of control. And also, what is the first thing you do? Not what you grab for. What do you do when you get home to unwind? Like, first thing I do is I hug my girl, right? I give Luna some love and hugs. Um, I do a little dance with her. Then I hug my husband. I look for him. I say hello, whatever. And then I usually go straight to the shower so that I can decompress, cleanse myself of everything that I was just at, and then put on a new outfit and start fresh and step out into homeland. And I find that helps me. And you'd be surprised. You let go of like the long line at Walmart, or the guy that cut you off in the road, or the bad email, or just the person that you went by with some bad juju. They were arguing or whatever, and you were like, "Ooh," and then you got home, and you don't want to take that stuff into your house. So for me, I like to wash, send it down the drain, and then start new. In my old house, my office was upstairs. The moment I stepped down the stairs, I was home, right out of the office. So what do you do to decompress, especially if you're working from home? What do you do to say, I've arrived home? So that this way you can be present with your husband and children and your wife for the rest of the day and the evening. And you'll notice that when you start putting these routines and boundaries, they help you switch and help you wind down a routine. The other thing, what changes can you make to this daily routine that you have to reduce your stress? Maybe you can put in a rule like, I'm only going to take 3 meetings a day. I can't be doing these 5, because of 5 then sends me to working late because I can't catch up in my work or whatever, right? So start looking at your weekly calendar. Of course, where can you incorporate some physical activity in your busy schedule? And I'm talking like, maybe you can start taking a walking meeting with one person that you know is casual, and plug those in 3 times a week, instead of um, sitting there stagnant, and they're in the office 4 doors down. Like, hey, let's walk and talk, right? I encourage you all to share your responses. This one was a little long, but I think it was a great podcast, and it's a great one to just get us started with talking about what is the stress that we're dealing with every day. And the more you share, the more we can like share the tips on how to make it better. So don't forget to follow me, Erica Garcia Yoga Vida, on Instagram and LinkedIn and here. Don't forget to subscribe. I invite you all to really share this episode, and maybe even save it to your favorites. Come back later. It was a long one, but I hope it was able to support you in showing that, look, we're all dealing with it, and how can we deal with the stress together, right? Because we're all kind of in the same boat. Share this podcast, please, 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 with your friends. Give me a shout out if you do something. Tag me on social media. And what have you. Some of these episodes are going to be coming in Spanish also, so make this like your comadres and patrona effort to support one another. I thank you so much for listening, having some time with me, and keeping me in mind and keeping me in your feed. So until we meet again, saludos y chao. This is Erica Garcia Abigail from the Nueva Alma Social uh, podcast and community. And I hope to see you, if not in person, online, and we can continue to share these experiences. And you can continue to be with other like-minded individuals such as us. So I'll see you soon. Bye.